Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer, and today we are still on location. And I'm just going to be real honest with you because I'm filming this last week, and by the time this airs I will be back home. So while I'm filming this, there's no surprise to a lot of you, I am in Walt Disney World, Florida. I am not on vacation. I am still on a work-sponsored trip with my husband. We have stayed in 4 states so far, and Orlando, Florida is our last stop. He's doing work stuff. He's actually working all day and then coming home and muscling it out so that we get to go do some fun stuff as a family. So I cannot even imagine the toll that's taking on his body and how tired he must be. So I'm taking the opportunity today, because I too myself am exhausted and my body is hurting. I'm taking the day to record some videos so that when we go back home today, Monday, we will be home. I am gonna rest. I am gonna cuddle my dog. I am probably not gonna do a whole lot. I'm gonna cook probably a crock pot meal, and we're gonna make our lives as easy as possible. But since it's Monday, I'm gonna show you my makes. Which you kind of already seen. I'm gonna give a little fashion slideshow too at the end probably. We're gonna talk about what I've been making, then we're gonna go into the blog about what I've been doing, what we've been up to, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So one of the things that I finished was this very cute, she calls it the Viscountess V-neck something. It is from MJ's Off the Hook. This is not a Cinnamon Stitches design. I've gotten a lot of people confused asking me if I was gonna do a tutorial. No, MJ's Off the Hook does a tutorial. She does a tutorial that is, her tutorials are kind of like a tutorial for the pattern, okay? So it's not a tutorial like, hey, I'm gonna show you a walkthrough of every size, because it's not. You have to, to get the most out of the pattern, you have to either purchase the pattern. She does have a free version of the pattern on her website, which is also available to you. So you can do this for free. She earns her money either way, because she has ad revenue off her website, or she gets, you know, some money from you purchasing the pattern. The pattern for this is on her Etsy. Also, it is part of a pack deal that by the time this airs, the pack deal might actually be over with. But she was paired up with 2 other designers, and they put together a bunch of patterns. And I think it started off as 6, and then towards the end of the sale, it was like 9 patterns for $40, which if you look at the quality of these patterns, it's an amazing deal, okay? And I know, I'm saying this now, but I should have been saying it last week. Maybe I'll put up a little, a short or something. So if you saw the short, go check them out. This pattern, honestly, is beautiful. It's a well-written pattern. The top is, I feel pretty in it. And I was watching their live the other day, and they were talking about it, and Michelle, MJ's Off the Hook, was like, yeah, Cinnamon Stitches tested for me, and she was talking about some of the things that I had said about the pattern. I was blushing a little bit. Because it's one thing to say, hey, to you guys, hey, this is how I feel about the pattern. It's also one thing to say, hey, this is what I liked about your pattern, this is what I found to be useful that might help you out with the pattern. I am sitting on the world's smallest chair, and it's very hard. So, and like I said, my body's hurting. I've been walking everywhere. We've been putting in our steps, okay? It's Disney World, that's what you do. Everything is a walk. So yeah, my back hurts from not being on my comfy memory foam mattress, and I don't have my triangle pillow because I left it. I had so many people message me about that stupid triangle pillow. We contacted the hotel. They don't know where the triangle pillow went. So I'm thinking either the people that clean the room were like, oh, somebody left a pillow, I'm gonna throw it out. Or somebody was cleaning the room and was like, oh, a $65 pillow, I'm gonna take it home for my family. You know, I've known plenty of people that clean up after other people that have cleaned in hotel rooms, and they're not supposed to take what's not theirs, but they do. I know this for a fact. Matter of fact, someone I'm related to used to, I don't know that he still does, I have not talked to him in years. He used to be maintenance for apartments, and when someone was getting evicted, he would go through and oh, we're moving stuff out, but hey, come by and get this, because they, you know, and that's wrong, but that's what they did. He came up on a lot of stuff, I'm just gonna say. So I know that it happens. I know that it happens. The pattern for this, like I said, is the Viscountess. It's V stitches. I screwed up this top. I'm gonna be real honest. When I connected it under the arms, I screwed up. I changed the stitch. So it's V stitch, but the V stitch is staggered. So the V stitches in the next row go in between the V stitches of the last row, right? So there's 2 V stitches here and the one is in between. When I connected under the arms, I had had a couple days break. And I was like, hey, I connected under the arms and I was packing and like, oh, there was so much chaos in my house, in my brain. My brain was on fire. It was going crazy with 8,000 things I had to do before we left town. I need to pack this, this, this. Don't forget that. Don't forget, because like I said in I think last week's video, I'm starting to learn that I might be a little bit like maintenance required. So I have to pack a lot of extra little things just to have my life be comfortable. Like my big giant pillow, I have to bring a water pick because I have fake teeth and like food gets stuck up under there. You have to have a water pick, okay? They're not all fake. I have a bridge back here, but like I need a water pick. So I'm trying to remember, did I bring all of my medicines? Did I bring his medicine? Did I bring Mr. Cinnamon's medicine? Did I bring 8 million things? I'm telling you. Can you hand me my phone?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's your dad or your sister or who. So because of that, I actually, instead of doing the staggered V-stitch, I started lining those bad babies up. Thank you. It's just me and little man in the room. That is definitely not them. I'm gonna take the top up a little bit to show you. See how the V's are like staggered and then the V's are no longer staggered? You see where it stops and goes? Now I posted in the Facebook group because I was like, I screwed up, and by the time I screwed up, I realized I screwed up. I was 8 rows in. I was 8 rows into the screw up. I was committed at this point. And you know, if you watch Cinnamon Stitches, I don't frog anything. We just go with the flow, okay? If you mess up, just go. Unless it is a big giant hole in your project, just go. Most of the time people are gonna notice. Or you can tell them it's a design element. Now, because I had already made the test for MJ, and this was the secondary that I was really just making for myself. I used a bigger hook size, and I have a little bit more, it's a lot bigger, which is fine. Because now it's like, it's the same design, it's the same pattern, but they fit different, they feel different, they look totally different because of the mess up mostly. But the first one in the wool has a hood and has a little bit longer sleeves because I ran out of yarn. I was gonna make the full sleeve and I ran out of yarn. So it's like 3/4 length. But it works because I get hot, you know. I don't like long sleeves anyway, but I was gonna do it. And this one I'm like, yeah, I didn't add any length onto the sleeve. Once I connected it under the arm, it was done. And I added double crochets around everywhere because I was being lazy and because we're traveling, because a lot's going on, and I was trying to get it done because I wanted to wear it. I wanted it to be pretty, right? So I just have a little pink tank top underneath it. What else did I do? Oh, I'm trying to remember to tell you all the details of this pattern. I also make it longer because she's much small. I believe she's a good couple inches shorter than I am, and I'm tall, okay? I also, everything moves south when you get older, especially when you have fat. Like everything kind of travels south, including your stomach fat, okay? So, just being real honest here. So, I like my shirts on the longer side to cover some of the parts of my body that I'm more self-conscious about. Like my second stomach, which is the lower half of my stomach, fupa, if you will. That's the pouch that hangs below your belly button. Some women have it, some women are blessed that they don't have it. I have a very large fupa. I hate it. It is the one part of my body I wish I could change, but no amount of exercise makes that go away. No amount of weight loss makes it go away. It just makes it more loose and floppy. So I like to cover that. So I always make my tops longer just to, you know. So I used the Comfy fingering weight from WeCrochet. It was sent to me from WeCrochet and it on behalf of Michelle from MJ's Off the Hook. So the yarn was a sponsored thing, but this is not a sponsored opinion. A couple of things about this yarn: it is ridiculously soft. It is delicious to work with, and even though it was a fingering weight, it didn't feel like a fingering weight. And by that I mean, it was like when you work with a fingering wool, sometimes because wool tends to shrink back on itself, it feels like it's taking forever to get an inch. Whereas the cotton in this just kind of laid open, and I did not have to block this where I had to block the wool one. The cotton just kind of leaves itself open. It doesn't shrink back on itself the way that wool does. But every single one of the 8 balls that I used gave me a giant yarn barf. So center pull is not a good idea with the Comfy. I'm just gonna say that. I actually had to take several balls apart and cake them up together, because can you imagine traveling with all that yarn barf and tangling in the center? So before I ever left the house, I already knew it was doing this. I was 4 balls in at this point. I'm like, screw it. We're gonna take an estimated amount of what we think is gonna be enough yarn to finish this top, and we're gonna cake it all together into one giant cake, and we're gonna put a yarn condom around it. So that's what I did. I put a yarn condom around it. If you don't know what a yarn condom is, can you hand me that bag right there, the purple one?
Yeah.
It is a little sack that holds your cake together. And I was sent these from a subscriber. She made them herself. I know that there are people who make these on Etsy. This is a yarn condom, okay? That's all it is. You put your cake in, and I don't have any cakes, because what I had left I balled up. Because we had a big old thing going. Oh, I forgot. I was working on something. Hang on, we got a snagoo. A snagoo. As a rubber band. I was gonna make a headband, and I was like, not in the mood. So I dropped the yarn ball. I picked up the rubber band and dropped the yarn ball. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna kind of give you an idea. There we go. Pretending this is a cake. You put it in there. Zip it closed. It keeps the cake together so it doesn't want to fall apart. And like, you know how the outside will sometimes come off? It keeps everything compact. And sometimes it will also stop the inside from collapsing in on itself and tangling. The reason this is in a ball, because the cake, once I got certain distance in the cake, started to collapse on itself and tangle. So that's the one thing I'm gonna say about the Comfy that I did not like. But I loved it enough that I want to buy some of the worsted of the Comfy and play with it and see, because it's beautiful, it's soft, it feels really nice on your skin, but it also feels really good working it up. I have that ball left, and I have one of these left. So, and the ball is, I'm gonna say the ball is close to 50 grams. So I have about the equivalent of 2 of these left. Now, once I finished that up, I was watching all of the feed come through from MJ's Off the Hook, promoting all her new designs, right, for summer patterns. And she kept showing a granny stitch bucket hat. And I don't have the pattern of her granny stitch bucket hat, I'm just gonna say that. But I've made bucket hats from other designers, and I'm like, okay, I know how to do that. So what I did is I took the style, I looked at her pictures, and I was like, I'm gonna make a bucket hat, but I'm gonna change the granny stitch to a V-stitch to match my top. So this is not her granny stitch, but if you take her granny stitch hat, I have no doubt if you take her hat pattern and you just take, because the V-stitch is still 3 stitches, if instead of putting the center double crochet in her hat pattern, you replace that with a chain and make it a V-stitch instead of granny stitch, you can replicate this hat by using her pattern and just changing the granny stitches to V stitches. I can pretty much guarantee it would be very easy for you to do that, because I just kind of took that idea and went with it. I of course measured this off my own head, because much like my body, I also have a very large head. My head is, I believe, 23 inches. I think my head is 23 inches. The average adult head is like 21 inches. And yeah, so that 2 inches makes a huge difference with most hat patterns, which is why I tend to knit instead of crochet hats for the winter time, because there is more stretch and more pull in knit than crochet. But this, it turned out perfectly. It worked up, and I believe her brim is probably single crochet, whereas I did double crochet because I was trying to get it done so I looked cute, so I could take pictures at this specific hotel, because you'll see at the end, this hotel is really cute. Okay, we are staying at the All-Star Movies Resort. No, we're in the music. We're in music. All-Star Music Resort at Walt Disney World. Yeah, it's a cute hotel. We have not stayed at the lower end hotels in a lot of years, because we have a DVC, so that's Disney Vacation Club. We are, what is that called? When you buy into a vacation club. I forget what that's called. It's called DVC here at Disney World. It's when you buy into future vacations. You guys know what I'm talking about. We bought in. We're Disney Vacation Club. So because of that, we stay at the higher end hotels, because that's what we bought into. Our favorite resort, the resort we bought into, was Animal Kingdom Lodge, because I love the animals. I love seeing the savannah when I wake up in the morning. I never want to leave the hotel. I love animals. I've always loved animals, and I've always had a huge fascination with African animals, specifically like elephants, giraffes. I love big cats, lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, and I get irritated when somebody misnames the animal, like when they call a lion a tiger. That irritates me. Lions are all blonde and have a mane for those. Tigers have stripes. Leopards sometimes have spots, although there are black leopards, but they still have spots. You just have to look at the way they move in the light. You can see the spots on those black leopards. Cheetahs have spots. Cheetahs and leopards sometimes get confused because, oh, they both have spots, but leopards have a fatter body, whereas cheetahs are more slender, skinny. They look more like a house cat than a leopard, whereas a leopard looks more like a dog cat. So you have been educated on big cats, and those are the only cats I can think of. I know that there's lynx, there's bobcats, there's cougars. I mean, there's all kinds. There's all kinds. I love big cats. I'm obsessed with them. I always have been. And I didn't know why, but I was looking through pictures a couple years ago of when I was a baby, and two things were on my nursery wall. And by nursery, I mean I literally had a crib that was next to a wall in what would be considered a closet in most people's world today, because my house was that small. Like, the room that I slept in as a baby and as a teenager was smaller than a jail cell. It was, I want to say, 6 by 8 if I'm generous. Yeah, it was a very small room. So like I said, it's a closet to most people. It's a jail cell to some, but that's what I had grown up. On the wall of my nursery was a picture of lions and a picture of Mickey Mouse. And for some reason, those things stuck with me through my entire life. I've always been obsessed with lions and big cats. And I mean, obviously Disney Mickey Mouse. Although when I was a teenager, I loved Looney Tunes. I'm still a fan of Looney Tunes, but there's not a Looney Tunes park that I'm aware of. And if there is, I've never been to it. Because I would definitely go and I would meet Bugs Bunny, because that would be super cool. And then, like, if they had Tiny Toons Land and they had the Tiny Toons characters like Babs and Buster and Plucky Duck. Like, my favorite cartoonist, elevator go up, elevator go down. Or he has one where he puts stuff in the toilet and he was saying, oh my god. Okay, so anyway. There is a child that lives inside of me. I saw something on the internet the other day, and it said Disney adults are just people who didn't have a real childhood and they're trying to heal their inner child. And I really thought about that, and I was like, that is both me and Mr. Cinnamon to a T. Like, we did not have a good childhood. Like, my childhood wasn't horrible. There were traumas involved with it. Some of it was, I fully believe that they did not understand the way my brain worked and the way I did things, much like this guy back here. I think that was where a lot of my trauma came from. Some of it. I also come from really bad people. I've told you that in the past, but Mr. Cinnamon had a totally, he had some things to deal with too as well. So I think that might be a reason why we're Disney adults, is because we're trying to heal that inner child, or give ourselves the childhood we wish we'd always had, you know? Like, I remember being in high school and my friends would go on vacations and, like, yeah, I played in the sprinkler. That's all we could afford. We played in the sprinkler, you know? And that wasn't bad. I loved playing in the sprinkler. I could have lived in the sprinkler. And I was telling little man the other day, I was like, do you know that when I was growing up, because we're in Florida, it's hot, right? I was like, do you know when we were growing up, there was not air conditioners in the car? And he's all, whoa. I was like, and also, we didn't have air conditioners in our house. And he was like gobsmacked by that. He's all, oh my God, that's terrible. Yeah, I mean, Michigan, the summers were not nearly as hot as what he has experienced living in Virginia his whole life. But yeah, it was pretty miserable. Like, there were days where it was pretty miserable. And I remember, like, I would just stay in the sprinkler all day. All day. And I would come in and my skin would be ice cold, because my body has always, when it gets cold, it will stay cold. And so if I go in the pool and I start to get a chill, I will actually stay uncomfortably cold the whole rest of the night. And it's always been like that. And I would go in the house and I'd be just happy sitting there watching TV, and my skin would be ice cold. And all the adults in the house would be like my uncle, my mom, my dad. He wasn't so much around. He was always working or gone or fishing or whatever he was doing. They would come and sit next to me. Oh, your skin feels so good. Let me lean on you. No, because then I'm going to get hot and stay hot, and then I'm going to be cranky again. Get off me. Don't touch me. 8, 9 years old. They're just like leaning on me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm still that way. If it's hot outside, don't touch me. Don't come near me. Don't sit next to me. Like, I'm hot. But yeah, it was just funny. It's funny to talk about. And did you guys notice how light and bleached out my hair is from the sun? Yeah, it's looking kind of rough. Like, there's parts of it that are white. So when we go home, we're gonna have to put some colorant on it, because it's not pretty at all at this point. I mean, there's parts of it underneath where it's not getting as much sun, where it's like still the right color.
Mom, is Dad at work?
Daddy is at work, yes.
So he came here just to give us lunch?
He came just to bring us lunch. Wasn't that so nice of him?
Yeah.
And he actually drove a little bit out of his way to bring us lunch. I know. So that's what I've been working on. I brought the blanket project I've been working on. I have put a little bit into it, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. However, I'm gonna tell you, these WeCrochet hooks are the only hooks I've been using for the past month. Ever since I got them, these are the Dots WeCrochet hooks. Now, you know, I am a bit of a hook snob. I will admit that. I loved the furls forever till I discovered the Omi hooks, because the Omi hooks are half the price. Okay. Then I love the Omi hooks because they're long, right? They're long, they're lightweight, they're comfortable in the hand, and when I'm having bad grip days, I don't have to like super grip the hooks. And I wasn't too sure I was gonna like these, because they are not big, bulbous, fat resin hooks. These are my favorite hooks, and I don't know why it was such a hard switch. I used one of my other favorite hooks that I brought with me for this blanket. It's the wood one, and it was hurting my hand. And I'm like, we're gonna switch back to this. So these are the Dots hooks from WeCrochet. I love them. I love them. I switched out, and I'm happier crocheting with these for some reason. All right, so I did put a couple of rows into my corner to corner. I can feel it pulling the stitches out. The color is beautiful. The yarn is squishy, but it's really hot, and this is like a bulky weight yarn, and it's kind of hot and heavy, and honestly I don't feel like crocheting at all. So I put a couple rows in. I am almost through with this ball. I don't remember what ball number that is. I don't know if this is the second ball or what. I suppose I should count how many balls I have left, and that will tell me how many I've used. There's 3, 4. So that's almost 2 balls. So it's going to be a really decent sized blanket because I have 6 balls all together of that. There's nothing wrong with the yarn. I just have not, I honestly, I haven't felt like crocheting. I haven't. I've been trying to focus on spending time with little man. I've been trying to focus on family time. I've been trying to rest in between so that I'm not overloading my body with crap. Because going from being a homebody and like doing basic everyday stuff like cleaning and cooking and running to the store and like all that, to being on your feet for 5 or 6 hours, it takes a toll on your body. It does. I don't care who you are. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on. I have been doing a lot of moving of my body, and I'm getting sore and tired and worn out. And I've also been eating more processed foods because when you're traveling, especially Disney hotels don't have microwaves. The refrigerator really only holds canned soda or bottled water. It's literally this thick of a space in there, and it says right on there it's a beverage cooler. It's not for food. A takeout tray fitting in there. So I've been trying to still make good food choices, but when you're eating processed foods on the road, that also, especially when you have like autoimmune, you have diabetes, you have things wrong with your body, it takes a toll and it does things to your body. So I'm trying to be as delicate with myself as I can and rest in between walking for 6 hours. Now, with that being said, we went, when we left Huntsville, Alabama, we went to the aquarium. Now, I'm going to make that its own video. But we went to the Georgia Aquarium, which is a beautiful, beautiful hotel. Or not a hotel. That is not a beautiful hotel. We stayed in the heart of Atlanta in a hotel for one night. Just to go, what?
No, that's not a beautiful hotel.
It was not a beautiful hotel.
The one in Alabama was.
Yeah, the Alabama was a better hotel than the Atlanta hotel. I don't like big cities. I really don't. And after having such a good time in Huntsville, Alabama, which we were very much in a city area, it didn't feel big city. And because we were right across the street from a big park with a I don't know, lake. I don't know, it's not a lake, whatever you call that, the springs. We went from that to the concrete jungle. I hated it. I don't like Atlanta. It's hot. The people are just rude and cranky, and I mean, the hotel, they were like, oh yeah, our pool is getting a deep clean. Well, we looked out the window. It was not being clean, but it was green. The pool was green. And then somebody was trying to check into the hotel after 5 o'clock. She was a much older woman, and she's like, and check in is 3 o'clock. It was 5:30, and they're like, your room is not ready. And she's all, what do you mean my room is not ready? She had already been waiting. And she's all, I need to talk to the manager. Well, the manager's not here. I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing we can do for you to make your room ready. It's not clean. I'm like, dude, like, find this girl a room. Like, I don't understand. 5:30? What do you want her to do? And so she was upset, and they were just not handling it correctly. And I don't know. It just was not a very nice hotel. They were supposed to be a nice hotel. They just weren't. So we went over to the aquarium, and I will tell that story in another video, but like that will be a travel video, travel with Jennifer. I've had a lot of people say that the travel videos are fun, like they feel like they're coming along, so I'm like, oh, all right, we'll do some more of those, because I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna be like, oh, we're gonna call it a day, I'm done. And then I got so many comments like, I really like these videos, like let's keep going. So we're gonna go to the Georgia Aquarium sometime this week, and then after that, I don't know if I'm gonna do, I might put a couple together for the Disney, but I haven't really recorded anything here, because I've just been trying to spend time with my family. We went to the pool yesterday. We went to downtown Disney, or not, it's not downtown Disney anymore. We went to Disney Springs for dinner. And I will say the best thing about Disney World is that every restaurant has an allergy chef. So yeah, I'm pretty much almost guaranteed to not get sick or get glutened or poisoned, as I say it, because they have a special chef. Most of the restaurants have dedicated allergy appliances. So there's less of a risk of cross-contamination. Even the food court at the hotel we're at, there is an allergy chef in the back. And when I place an order through the app to pick up, I get little man's section of the order on a brown tray, and then the allergy chef comes out with my food, which is in a closed sealed container with a big allergy sticker on it, on a purple tray that says this is an allergy tray. They hand me my food, and the allergy chef asks if I have any questions, concerns, comments. And it's unique in the fact that everywhere I go, I have to wonder, is this food gonna make me sick? Am I gonna get sick today? And it's like that in my everyday life. So it's something I'm used to, but it's when that is all of a sudden gone and you're not as fearful. Now, I will say we went to a restaurant called Topolino's, which is here, and they are a little higher end, expensive restaurant, fancy bougie foods, right? I've never had a problem with this restaurant before, but they brought me my food out, and something Disney does is they put a wooden stick in there that says allergy on it, or it's purple tipped, so it'll be dipped in wax, but it's just a toothpick, a big toothpick. And you know that food was prepared by the allergy chef, and it's guaranteed that they took extra steps to make sure you don't get sick. And they brought me my food out, and I looked at it, I didn't see an allergy stick. If there's not an allergy stick, that means it didn't come from the right chef, and that means cross-contamination. There's a possibility I could get sick from it. And so I immediately leaned back from the plate, and I said, this doesn't have an allergy stick. And he looked at it, he goes, you have an allergy? I said, yes, gluten. And he immediately whisked the plate away, okay? And a few minutes later, I got an apology from the front of house manager, asked if I was okay. He said, I promise the food will be coming out and it will absolutely be from the allergy side of the kitchen. We apologize for any inconvenience, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't that pressed. Like, it was, I knew that they would take care of it. And I watch, what is the name of that channel, Lucas? With what? Sarah and Brandon. Gluten-free.
Live gluten-free?
No, dairy and gluten-free Walt Disney. I will link them below.
Gluten and dairy-free at WDW.
Okay. Sarah has a blog. She's been doing that a long time. Her and Brandon, I believe it's her husband, both have, she is, I believe she's celiac. She can't eat gluten, and she's careful with how much dairy she ingests.
Ooh.
And Brandon has a list. Like, he's allergic to chicken, or I think it's poultry. I believe maybe shellfish, but like cabbage. I mean, he has a list of things he's allergic to. And one of the things that they promote on their channel that is really hard for me to do is to advocate for myself, because it's embarrassing having to ask personally. It's hard for me to ask for special treatment because of the life I've lived, you know? And I always feel like I'm being a burden. I'm embarrassed by it. My anxiety amps up when I have to talk to other people about, can you please make sure that I'm not gonna get sick from this? And there has been time I have not advocated for myself, and I have gotten sick because I'm like, I don't want to make the chef feel bad, so I'm just going to eat it and just deal with it. And then I get sick. And they are very big proponents of advocate for yourself. Ask questions. Make sure. Here are some questions you might want to ask them. Here are some things you might, and I learned so much from watching Sarah specifically because gluten, you know. Learned that there's some foods I should not probably eat because it could be, even though it says that it's like oats, okay? Oats can be made at the same facility as wheat and can have wheat containing in them somewhere, and it could make some people sick. So I didn't know that. Grits can have traces of gluten in them. Did not know that. So I have to be careful where I eat what at, what I consume in my body, knowing the source of where some of these things come from. And at Walt Disney World and I think that's one of the reasons Mr. Cinnamon wanted to move to Florida to begin with, is because me and my daughter both deal with this. And it's hard finding places to eat together as a family. It's hard finding places that are safe for us. And here there's a level of comfort that we don't get in the real world, just because Disney goes above and beyond for allergies, which is insane. I remember there was a time we went to Chef Mickey's, which is in the Contemporary Resort, and they brought us out an entire platter of gluten-free cookies, brownies, snacks, like goodies. And desserts is really hard for someone. Everything's made with flour or wheat or gluten, right? And so to get any kind of dessert, even here, is hard to come across something that, you know, is not just ice cream. And they brought us out an entire tray, and it had like edible sparkles on it. It was the most beautiful, and we were so full from dinner. I'm like, I can't eat this, but I feel bad because they made us this beautiful tray. And I looked at the waiter and I was like, is there any way, because it's a buffet, they don't let you take stuff in a box. It's like, is there any way we could package this so I can eat it later, because it's beautiful, but I can't possibly right now. He's all, we're not supposed to, but I'm gonna get you a box, because he was the allergy guy. It was like, thank you so much. And the brownies were delicious. They were gluten-free brownies. They were so good. And gluten-free flour a lot of times tastes like paste. I don't care what you cook with it, it tastes like paste. Bread, oh. So that's the upside of Walt Disney World. Now, like I said, we're here for business. We're here for work things. So it's not like we're vacationing and going to the parks. We're not. We went to Magic Kingdom because we wanted to. We only went for a couple hours. And it's mostly just hanging around the hotel or like going in the pool, or we went to the Character Warehouse, which is one of our favorite stores. I got Juju birthday gifts. So when we go home, we're gonna have a little birthday party for her. It's gonna be 2 weeks late, but she'll still have a birthday party. We also never celebrated Father's Day. So I bought Mr. Cinnamon a magic band. And this is, if you've never been to Disney World, this is your key to everything. Your tickets are in here. You can link this to like paying for stuff. Like everything can be stored in, there's a little wire in here. This can be used to open your door as a lock, so it'll unlock the magic. It's like there's a key in there.
This model is called Magic Band Plus. Only for Magic Band Plus users, it can light up with fireworks. So for example, on select shows like Dreams That Soar, which is a show in Disney Springs that is new, it will light up.
It's showing up as white, but it is rainbow colored.
It will light up with the show and sometimes vibrate. But if you have a regular Magic Band, a key, or an Apple Watch, or a phone that you're using to get in or use as tickets, then that won't work. You have to have a Magic Band Plus, not a regular Magic Band, because regular Magic Bands don't have a battery.
And this one needs to be charged, but they do have ones that don't need to be charged. Magic
Band Plus doesn't need to be charged, but if you want more experience at the parks, you can charge them.
Yes, because this will activate special effects around the parks as well. Like there's a lot of things this stupid little watch thing. It's not even a watch.
But it does have
a lot of things. This does.
Photosensitive warning for people that do have photosensitive on some like modes.
Pirate Ship is increasing their rates July 1st. Doesn't surprise me. Postage is going up around the world because everybody is like, you know. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on in Cinnamon Stitches land. So the rest of the week, I'm going to try to put together a video of the Georgia Aquarium, because I would really like to take you guys along with us. I don't know if there's going to be a Disney video. I really don't think there's going to be a Disney video, just because we're not doing a whole lot, and I'm not filming us in the pool. That's not going to happen. I'm going to put a slideshow with a couple of photos I took of myself wearing this really cute outfit right directly outside of our room, so you'll get to see that. And And like I said, this is gonna air on the Monday that it's gonna be actually our first full day home. We get home yesterday on Sunday, and I'm just gonna take a couple days and relax. So I'm working today to hopefully upload 3 or 4 videos, so I have a couple days just downtime to reacclimate to life at home and just to rest. Because even Mr. Cinnamon said this has not at all been a vacation, because he's working, and then in the evenings he's coming home and he's like, after a full day of work, he's like, okay, let's go get dinner somewhere, or let's go to the aquarium, or let's go to the pool, or let's go walk around Magic Kingdom for 5 or 6 hours. And I know he's gonna be real tired, and he's gotta go back to work today, so he don't even get a day off. So he actually was like, I think it's a good idea for you to take a couple days off. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna work today, and then I can have a couple days off when we get home.
He's at work from the 9 to 5.
Well, he left way before 9. He leaves when it's still dark out. He always has. So also this week, so we're gonna have an aquarium video. I have another yarn haul video coming up. Because I went back to Fiber Artworks in Alabama. The members already saw what I purchased, but I'm going to show you guys on the main part of the channel. And we're going to go more into detail about what I bought, my experience, why I bought it, why I went back, and all of that good stuff. So it's going to be its whole own video. And then, what else did I have planned for this week? I know I had 3 or 4 videos, and I don't have my planner, so nothing is written down. But I mean, we're just gonna play it by ear, and what happens happens, right? So I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Bye, guys.